Hello and welcome back to another Planet Zoo guide. Today we'll be taking a look at some aspects of building. If you're more interested in a video about general zoo layout and how to plan your zoo, that will be coming up soon. So we're going to start right away with paths. I will be covering paths, the terrain tools, and general building / building of large objects, as well as building of shelters in habitats and building of your own barriers in this video. And we're starting with paths, so just build a normal path. All of these settings, most of them I believe are self-explanatory. For example, this just means that we've got railing everywhere. Snap alongside barriers means that it will be right on the barrier, whatever. So nothing too special here. Now, let's take a look at the one item here that you might find very, very useful, which is align to grid. So you choose the grid path piece and then you just snap pieces onto it. This allows you to create plazas or anything like that. This will always work in a 90-degree angle as well, so if you want 90-degree paths for some reason, this is the perfect way to do it. It'll always be in exact 90 degrees. And you can have these pretty little curved parts that you probably won't get with normal pathing. Alright, so that's what you really want to have this align to grid function for. Queues, you want to use those for rides. They even come with their own little staff number. And these only make sense for rides, by the way, you don't have to put them in front of shops. And staff paths, obviously, for your staff only. Okay, terrain tools. Sculpting, I think that's a little self-explanatory, right? Push and pull. Flatten to foundation and flatten to surface. These might seem like they're the same, but they're not. So just test which one works better. Usually flatten to foundation, I believe, is the one that just straight into something. They work a little differently, just figure out which one works better for you. Chisel. I'll show you that real quick. What this does is it sort of, evens. It tries to even the area out. Smoothing gets rid of any corners. It doesn't make things straight, but it gets rid of any harsh corners. And roughen, well, I mean, yeah. Self-explanatory, right? Terrain stamp tools. You can have them positive or negative, so either way. You can have a height and angle snap, you can determine their height or weight, and then that way you can have these little shapes all over the place. Painting, self-explanatory. Water, first of all, you need to use the push tool to place water. Second of all, water places itself in essentially 1 meter distances, right? So like we'll have one border up here, which would fill this up fully. Then we've got the next one down here, next one down there, etc. So if you can't have the water right at that level for some point, dig up a little lower or a little higher, or go like a little higher, things can obstruct your water. If you have animals in the habitat at the time being and they're close to the water, that might be the reason why you can't place it. Also, if we're building in a 3-dimensional setting, so like I've got a hill here, and I want to have a waterfall in that hill, I can't do that. But the game does not enable that, and this will just turn into the same thing again. So just keep that in mind when you try to place waterfronts in your habitats. Almost anything can be a waterfront if you try hard enough. There is both rough water and, not rough water, but honestly, rough water just gives you a little more texture. If that's what you're looking for. There's no big difference otherwise. Okay, next bit. Building for habitats. So as you know, these are the normal barriers that you can use, right? As you probably also know, a null barrier doesn't do anything if there's no actual barrier there. So let's just say build a null barrier here, right? We need to build our own individual barrier. Now, how does this work? It's pretty simple. All the items in here, so for example these fences, count as maximum security, maximum height fences. So, can place this here. Can build this tiny thing. Like so. And as long as I get a null barrier around this and a habitat gate somewhere, this is going to count as a habitat, and I can put a lion in here, and the lion won't be able to escape. It does say 1 meter high, but honestly, up until now, I've never had the issue where the animals would jump over fences, even if they're like just 1 meter high. Although, it seems to be a thing only with the Arctic fence, so maybe that's something they used specifically for that fence. That might be something you want to watch out for, because it is tagged for height, everything else isn't. Like, I've used this fence to keep lions and tigers in. It's perfectly fine. Or like, these fences for hippos. Just make sure to go around them with a null barrier, but the null barrier is always outside of where the habitat would be. This makes the animals think they have more space than they have, who cares? It also means that this out here will count for terrain edits, so for terrain paint and whatever. But, you know, it makes sure that the animals wouldn't, like, cross the barrier. Because what the game cares about is the null barrier, not whatever pieces you've placed. You can use anything to create a barrier. You can use these fences, you can just use literal walls, you know. So you can create your own fence pieces by using, you know, some sort of wooden pieces here. You know, like say you use these and then you go into, I don't know, like flags, and then you pick up a banner like this. Okay, that's a little big, right? Do we have like a small one? You know, and like you smash this on there. You could use that as a barrier. It's not the prettiest barrier, but it would work, even though it's like just fabric and things. It would work. Right, so next thing, building your shelters. So here's the important bit. Let's say we have an animal that is 1 meter like wide, 1 meter tall, and 4 meters long. This means that this animal will take up a full 4x4 space in your shelter. This also means that if the animal wants to enter the shelter at any point, it needs to have a 4x4 space. No, not upwards. Upwards you only need the 1 meter, so you know, it would actually look like this. But still, you need to have this wide a space for your animal to walk through. Even if, theoretically speaking, the animal could just fit through this door, because there's more than 1 meter free here. So, yeah. You could fit through there, but nope. Sorry, won't work. It needs this much space. Keep this in mind, especially when you build shelters for very long animals, such as the... Let's see if I can find it. There. Saltwater crocodile. The male saltwater crocodile is up to 5 meters long. It can be longer, that is the average, so I don't have any research on how long the longest is, but like think 5-6 meters, meaning even if you leave a whole free space like this, it won't be able to walk through it, okay? Just keep that in mind when building shelters and wondering why they're not recognized. It also means that every animal needs this much space in the shelter. Like, I know that I could fit 2 tigers in here right next to each other. You'd still need double that space for your 2 tigers. Okay. I hope that is a good basic explanation. If you have more questions concerning that or anything else, just put them in the comments. Now the last part that I'm going to talk about is creating your own large pieces, your own large buildings, anything in that area. So let's say we want to build a glass house, which is a pretty popular theme here. You know, then you start off with 1 piece of glass house. Yeah, like, I don't know, let's say this is like our base piece, and then we want, what do I know? Yeah, these guys on the sides, right? Then the other one over here. Obviously this one doesn't have a door, but who cares? Like, this is not the door piece, it has the door. And then you're like, oh yeah, but like actually we also have frames on here, because that's where we're going to put the Zoopedia entries, and I really want to have some traditional fencing underneath here, you know, to act as like seats or something. And then also there's like lights right next to these. Let's just see if we can find some that don't look terrible there. We've got lights here. You know, you decorate these, you realize, oh yeah, what about like, I don't know, let's use something here. A drum. We want a drum in this, and like a fireplace, whatever. Right? And then you realize, wait, like that's cute and all. But I need to build this 100 more times. Nope, you don't. Here, you have the duplicate move. As long as this is in one group, that's the important part, you can just duplicate it. You can just duplicate it upwards too, which I wouldn't recommend, you know, if you have anything edited that should be on the floor, but up you go. Now this is very useful when you want to do like intricate wall pieces. You know, so you can like just take one wall piece, put all the decoration on it, and then copy it. Now you can't take all of this and move it, you always have to work into single pieces. But what you can do is use a multi-selection and save this as a blueprint. So let's name it the bloop for the sake of science. It's a food shop, I don't really care. And now if you go into blueprints, into your own blueprints, you can find the bloop in there, right? Then you could just take the bloop and place it again. Bloop. And that is how you can do very, very large builds in a relatively short amount of time. This is also how you can... There's a siren going, I'm sorry. Oh no, it's just a neighbor. Okay, sorry. And that this way you can, you know, also just take this and put it into a different zoo. You know, if you like build this huge thing and you want to use it in a different zoo as well. So you do. This is also how you upload stuff to the Steam Workshop. I'll also try to explain all of these things here, but I think they're all pretty understandable, right? Let's just go and try to like put a window on here. If I let it align to surface, if I don't let it align to surface, it's this down. If it's position snap rotation, it will always fit this object. If it's position snap, moving it, like you can't really see it here, but just means that it will snap onto it. Angle snap, you know, like when you try to rotate it, that's something you can't really see well with this frame, but there you go, see? Shows you this little help grid. Now something you will care about when using something in habitats is whether it's climbable or not. So for example, this pole here is climbable. So monkeys can climb on it. This pole here is not climbable. Monkeys cannot climb on it. Just keep stuff like that in mind when you build something. Alright, bridges. If you want to build a bridge, like this is too late to start a bridge, right? No, I can still start it. Just make sure that you're, you know, early enough. There is this version and the stairs version, whichever one suits your liking, and then you can just create a little bridge you do. And then make sure you're completely, like, not on the water anymore before you lower the piece, because as you can see, it's still obstructed by water volume, so we'll have to go along. And then you can place it down. Poof, you've got your bridge. Okay, so I hope that answered all of the really basic problems. I know that building a planet zoo is very intricate and that you can do a lot here, so if you have any specific questions, feel free to post them down in the comments below, or just, you know, DM me anywhere. My Twitter is in the comment section, you can message me on YouTube. I think I'll also put my Reddit in the comment section so that you can message me there. You know, I'll try my best to help you figure out this game. I've spent a few hundred hours on it now, and sometimes there's still things where I'm just like, oh no, how do I do this? Small warning, also paths can be a mess, so just like, if your path bugs out, that's normal. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, I hope this tutorial helped you a little bit, and I hope I'll see you again in my next video.